age to start planning for your retirement? From the day we start earning. Yeah. Who else? Can we have a couple of answers, please? 21. Close enough. Anyone else wants to type in the chat? Don't be shy. It's only Neha. Who's not the most shy?
I think the answer should be like, it was supposed to be yesterday, but why not start today?
Correct. Start anytime to plan for retirement helps bring maturity with handling money. 100%. So I think Neha said it right. You start when you know it's time to start. And as early as possible, and then whenever you wake up, as we say in our Indian culture, jab jago tabhi savera. So it's the same thing that applies with money. Let's launch our poll very quickly because our co-host Farisha, who's managing all the tech, it is Ramadan month, and she's joining us in between her fast breaking. So let's help her out so she can go and eat something. So we have the poll out here. Are you aware of the different investment options available to save up to the retirement fund? I am actually, yeah. I'm really glad for people to say they're new to the topic. No, I'm not aware. Yes. And you're new to the topic. All right, we have 6 of 8 responses, 7 of 8 people participated, and we are, just about 11 people. So one more response, and it's quite clear that majority are new to the topic or are not even aware of the options that we have available. Okay, Maria, I know I have to save for retirement, but I don't know how. Indeed, many of us don't know how, and we don't think about it until, we either have some challenges in our lives with the family, or until we get to the, midlife, and you suddenly realize I only have half of my life left, or even less a number of years. So with that, thank you everybody for the responses. Parisha, we can close the poll, and we'll let you off the hook for the next 40 minutes, and we hand over to Neha to get started.
Thank you so much, Simran, and truly grateful for everyone who's coming today. I know it's a long weekend, and most of us have plans to travel, me included. So let's just get right to it. The topic that we're going to discuss today is something which is so essential, but really neglected till the time you actually hit retirement, and then you're like, hey, I should have done this earlier, right? So I thought, let's break this down into 3 major questions, and I'll talk about all of them today. But before that, for everyone who does not know me or Womoneysta, quick little introduction. I'm the founder of a platform called Womoneysta. That's how you can break it down. It's women, money, and sisterhood. We launched this in 2020 with a single vision and dream to empower and enable women to make better and own financial decisions. As our journey has been extremely exciting, and we realize that there is so much demand, and there are so many collaborative partners like Aspire for Her, who launched SheKnowsMoney, and it's always a pleasure to come back and speak to audiences, speak to all you women. So that's what we've been doing for the last 2 years. We do courses. We also have launched a one-on-one financial consultation now exclusively for women. One of the very few, brands which are working for financial equity of women, and so proud of that. And finally, I always start my sessions with this, that in case you've come with a non-finance background and you feel like that's holding you back, I request you to drop that for the next 1 hour that we're together, because handling your money is just a skill that anyone can learn if you just have the right structure, right? So my focus in every session is to come and hit every topic by providing you some key points, some structure that you can take back. And that's what I'm hoping to do today as well. Before I get started, everyone who's here, why don't you write down in the chat box for me, what do you think about, what is the feeling that you get when you hear the word retirement? let's get feelings in first, because I want feelings out of the way. So when somebody tells you or you hear this word retirement, what do you really feel? Go for it. Chat box is all yours. Few of us. So if you want to put it in the chat box or you want to just unmute and say, quickly type it down. What do you feel? Scary and excited, right? That's a good one, right? Sim was like, oh no, old age. Okay. Nobody's excited about old age. I'm sure Maria is excited because she's like, oh, I get to do all the things which I always wanted to do. And I never had the time for. Right? Yeah, that's me too. Oh no, medical issues, Geeta. What did I miss all these years? Why am I, what have I not done? FOMO, oh, everything I wish I could have done. Right. Awesome. So when we generally talk about retirement to all our women, tribe members, one of the common feeling is generally of fear or to some extent of intimidation, because I've not really broken this down properly in my head. I know that this is going to happen, but I've not really broken it down very clearly for me, right? So I feel like it's approaching too fast and maybe I'm not ready for it yet, right? So the goal I have today is to help you all, and we're a limited group, so it'll be nice if you all can actually use this hour to throw up your own personal numbers and questions where I can help you. So the three major questions, which we all want to get a structure and answer to when it comes to retirement is, how much will I need, right, when I retire? If I retire at 60, 65, what's that amount of money that I need to have so that I can comfortably continue to live the lifestyle that I have today, or similar lifestyle that I have. Some of us want a better lifestyle than we have, right? But that number is the first question that most people are unaware of. The second one, after you kind of overcome the heartache of that number, is okay, fine, but how much do I need to start planning for today, right? And finally, I know both these numbers, but where do I start investing? So today's session is going to be broken down into these three parts. And as we always do, there will be some tools and calculators which you all can work with me today. Give me your numbers and I'll show you what that number looks like. Right? But these are the three questions I urge you all to go back to after this session. So when it comes to retirement, I call it the retirement mountain, right? Because it's almost like hiking up a mountain. There are stages and then there's the peak. So if you break this mountain down into something known as pre-retirement and post-retirement. Now, pre-retirement phase is also known as the accumulation phase, right? Most of us want a passive income. We want to get that monthly income for sure. But we often neglect the accumulation part of it. Now, you cannot make a nice, handsome monthly income for a long period of time if you've not put in the work to build and accumulate a large amount of money for yourself, right? So wherever we are today, before we hit our retirement age, whatever that be, we are always in the accumulation phase. At the accumulation phase, now think of your retirement plan as an oxygen cylinder, right? As you're in your early phases, you're climbing up the mountain, you really don't need this oxygen cylinder. There's no pressure as such, right? Because it's very comfortable for you. This is the time where you have the leeway to start investing, start saving, take some higher risk right now. You don't need to consume that oxygen cylinder currently. Unfortunately, most of us are busy living life today when we're in this phase. We are not thinking of the peak. Somewhere midway, we start realizing when this is difficult for us. Now we have to lean in on that oxygen cylinder, right? At this stage, you will start reviewing your plan. And as soon as you hit your retirement, you've got to change gears. Now you're really got limited oxygen, which means I cannot take too much risk. I cannot be accumulating now because my accumulation would be way lesser. And I want to make sure that whatever with little risk, I start getting the income that I wanted, right? So the point I'm making is that this is not a overnight journey. Retirement is a mountain that we all have to face. We have to climb it. But most of us sitting at the bottom are very, very ignorant of it. So the first thing I'm going to park in your minds is just take back the visual of this mountain and imagine if you're young, really in your 20s or 30s, right now is the time where you should be thinking of how much I should start saving from today. And that's the answer you want to take back today. If you're somewhere on top, I seriously recommend consulting an expert who will actually get you started working on a retirement plan immediately. And if you're really close to this, you need help. You will need help. Even if you think that you want to delay this even further, that would be my recommendation. So let's go and see how much will I really need. Question number 1. Okay. How much I need? I'm going to give you some numbers. Right? We can work out the numbers of how much you require. The first thing you need to see here is the lifestyle that you want when you retire, right? So the starting point of your retirement plan is always your expenses. And if I was to ask you all, how much expense were you doing, say 20 years ago? I think that's very difficult for us to think, right? What was I spending 20 years ago? I don't know. But if your starting point is how much are you spending today? That's a very easy reference point. Would you all know that? Would that be a comfortable number for you to kind of, do a ballpark in your mind every month? How much are you spending today? Yes, no, maybe? Everyone in the room with me? Okay, so Maria says yes. What about the others? Would you have a rough idea how much you're spending today? Right? The simplest rule of thumb, right? I always say rule of thumb are tricky because it's always nice to work with an expert who knows your exact situation. But if you were just to get a starting point, just a guidance, right? The simplest rule of thumb is to look at 25 times, that's the retirement kitty that you require, of your inflation adjusted annual expense. Okay. So there are 2 things here. First, everything I'm spending multiplied by 12, my monthly into annual. Second, I have to adjust this in pound for inflation. You all understand inflation? Everybody's clear? It's the rise in prices over a period of time, right? So whatever I'm going to, so potato today, if it's worth 30, 35 bucks, after 20 years, probably that's not going to be the price I need to pay. There'll be much higher price I need to pay, right? Simple. So whatever I'm spending to live my lifestyle today, there'll be a higher amount. 25 times of that number can be a dipstick number. That's the ballpark number that you're looking at, right? And finally, basis this number, we're going to work backwards and figure out how much is my monthly investment. So I have a little calculator which we all can try. And if you all have some numbers off the top of your head, feel free to share that with me. You want to go into the calculator? Yes, no, maybe? Because today's session is going to be about number crunching, right? Cool. Let's jump right to it. Can you see this? The simple calculator? Yeah. Okay. So this calculator is starting with your current monthly expenses. Anyone in the room who wants to do this exercise, who's comfortable, you can throw out the numbers at me. What would be your current monthly expenses? Even one of you can just kind of unmute since we're a small group, and let's try to do it for you. Otherwise, all right. So Maria, why don't you be my participant for this activity? 1 lakh rupee is my current monthly expenses. Now, the next question I want to ask you, Maria, is do you think that this will be the percentage that you will require at the time of retirement? Now, let me tell you where this is coming from. Typically, if you're living in a family of like husband, wife, 2 kids, typically there are spends like on your kids, etc., which would go out when they'll get out of your way when your kids have moved out, right? So those expenses might really go down. So a good way to think of it is that generally people in their retirement would be spending 70 to 80% of what they spend today. This is only in a case where you have kids and you have all this family expense which might go down. Now, another way to look at this is a lot of people say, hey, listen, my kids will go out, but that money, whatever I'm going to make, whatever I'm saving, I would still want to use it for my other goals. Like I want to travel, etc. Or I need that extra money to keep my health corpus, right? So I'm going to typically, when you work with a rule of thumb, you can take 80%. But Maria is going to tell me what does she want. Do you want it to be 100%, like the same amount? Or Maria, do you think we can adjust this to like 80% of the money that you're currently spending? What would you want?
Yep, 80%. Sounds good.
80%. Okay. So let's go with an 80% assumption. Okay. So which basically means, Maria, that every month, as of today's lifestyle, 80,000 is what I need. Okay. Now, the monthly expenses, let's take our inflation rate. India average inflation rate is 6%. Okay. So we'll work with the 6%. And now you've got to give me the number of years. How many years are you looking at to retire?
20.
20 years. So I have 20 years to go. So first wow for a lot of us is 80,000 multiplied by 12 would have been 9,60,000, right? Which will actually become in 20 years, it's going to be 31 lakhs approximately at a 6% growth rate, right? That's going to be your annual expense. That's the first thing. That's huge, right? That's a big shift. I don't think we anticipate. And if I just do 25 multiplied by 31 odd lakhs, I'm going to require approximately, can you tell me what this number is?
7 crores.
7.7 crores approximately.
Right.
Okay. Now, this is a point at which a lot of us feel either excited or very demotivated. What are you feeling right now?
Demotivated.
Extremely demotivated, right? Like this is not happening. Okay. But it will happen and it can happen, right? So I'm going to give you also a number. So currently in this calculator, I've not done extensive work. When we work with clients on one-on-one, we do much more deeper work with them. But just to give you all a number, at least your first number in your head is, Maria, that you've got to reach a corpus of approximately 7.7 crores. And how you're going to get there is you'll have to take some risk, right? We're going to talk about that as well. So supposing, do you have any existing investments you think which you have accumulated towards this goal? Is there any money that you'd like me to put in here?
Okay. Yeah. Again, it's an investment that probably mature in 5 years. Around 20, I guess.
So let's say we are going to have, and let's not assume it's 20 in 5 years. Let's say 20 lakhs is what I have today. Okay. Let's just play with that number. And I have 20 years to go. And assuming I'm someone who's very, very conservative, I'm not going to take too much risk. I intend my money to earn just 7%. Can you see you require almost 1,32,000 every month to go into a retirement kitty, which is whoa. Extremely, extremely painful, right?
Yep.
The other option is, let's see, if I take a little higher risk, then what happens? Can you see that?
Right.
As soon as I'm taking some risk with my retirement investments, given the fact I have 20 years, can you see from 1,32,000 the advantage?
Yep.
I've come down to 57,000. And honestly, when we work one-on-one for everyone, we even start working on your cash flow. So in that sense, we will incorporate things like how can you step it up every year? Right now, maybe you cannot even do 57,000. Maybe you can say, I start with a 20,000. How does that look? How do the numbers look then? Right. So this is the kind of deep work that you require when you work with an expert. But for all of you, Maria, did you enjoy this?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And just a question. So when you say you will follow up, so I know I have the details of your one-on-one sessions. So after we have taken that, so would you also do a follow-up, say after a few months or so, or does that mean a separate consultation?
So we have consultation plans. You come on that conversation and we'll share those details with you. And definitely when we work with clients, we like to work for longer engagements, but let's have that chat when you come in and
Sure.
We'll share that as well. So our intent is to obviously have a longer and long running relationship, because that's the only way even we can see you achieving your goals, right?
Right. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else would like to play around? Simran, maybe you want to do this, or Geeta, Sunita, anyone? Additional risk? Okay. So Geeta, if I'm thinking today for my retirement and I'm only leaning on, say, employee provident fund, a PPF, maybe my fixed deposits, right? What's the average return I can expect for my money to grow at every year? What do you think is the average return that I earn? So what does a PPF for example, earn me every year?
About 7%, Neha?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So 7%, right? What am I getting on my fixed deposits right now? Even the longer ones, 2 years, 3 years, approximately 7 currently,
Maybe up to 8, if at
maybe
all.
up to 8, right? So that's why I put a number when I was doing that. I just put, say, okay, whatever investments I'm doing, that money will grow at 7%, right? Which means I have to today start investing a lot more because my money is not working that hard, right? See, inflation is going at 6, my money is going at 7. So that buffer is very, very small. Now, as soon as I say that, okay, I'm not just going to make safe investments, I'm also going to try looking at equity and mutual funds as part of my retirement portfolio. I'm going to increase the amount of risk I'm going to take, which means possibly higher returns, which is when I change this number to approximately 12%, right? What you would possibly get when you're investing in equity mutual funds. That amount that I need to invest today drastically reduces because my money is working harder for me. So that is what I meant when I said that this adjustment has to again be very personal. Only when somebody has gone through your portfolio, they understand your risk appetite, can they recommend. But this is the kind of difference that you will see between absolutely not taking risk and then adding a little bit amount of risk. And then for those who want to be more aggressive, they can grow their portfolio at 15%, which means they can just start at 30,000 and just be like super aggressive. Right. Make sense now? Okay, cool. Awesome. So the first thing I wanted to share with all of you is that there is a math to getting your retirement number, and that number can be fairly daunting for a lot of us, right? Because intuitively, we do not think inflation. Intuitively, we cannot imagine how much the impact of inflation would be on our monthly expenses. And also, we don't realize that I have to live for almost, if I'm going to retire or I'm not going to be actively working, say from the age of 60 or 65, given the extended lifespan now, I'll possibly have to live off my accumulated money for the next 20 years odd, right? Which means I have to really, really make sure that this is a very critical goal in my overall scenario. So this was the one thing I wanted to really establish by showing you this calculator. Okay. Going back. So how do we do the math? It's a very easy and, there's fairly a clear structure that one can follow with this using the 25x rule of thumb. When is the right time to start? Right? This was the question which Simran also asked. So again, I thought, let's put some numbers to this. Let's give a structure to this. So supposing I have to plan for 4 crores, right? Maria has to plan for 7.5. Supposing there's someone who wants to plan for 4 crores and they want to retire by 60, and the returns that they expect on the investment are 12% from today. Okay. In the pre-retirement phase, whatever they are accumulating, they expect the returns to be 12%. How much would they need to start investing today? That's the question. So if a 25-year-old has this particular target, she can start and she can hit this goal only by investing 6,158 per month. As soon as this lady becomes 30, right, and she is not started yet, when she starts at 30, she will need to double that. She can start at around 11,332. If you start planning at the age of 35, you've got to put more than 3 times, which is approximately 21,000 plus. If you have delayed your retirement planning to 40, to achieve the same goal, you've got to put 40,000, right? Approximately 6.5 times, right? 45, every month it's got to become 80,000. And by the age of 50, it's lethal, right? This is when the pressure is really hot and on. You've got to start putting in 1,72,000. So can you see how this leaps for us for every single block of like 5 years that we're delaying this? The point I'm trying to make is what I said right in the beginning. Wherever you are, you're possibly already late. Yesterday is when you were supposed to start. And the next best time is that you start today, right? So if you're someone who's been sitting on the fence, delaying this, or young girls around you who are earning, who are so busy enjoying their life today that they have nothing that they want to think about retirement, I'd urge everyone, the earlier you start, it's not painful. The later we start thinking of this, it gets harder and harder. And unfortunately, retirement is not one of those goals where you can just say, hey, just remove that goal. Okay, I'm not going to go and retire, right? That's not what you want to do, right? So the earlier you start, the numbers work in your favor. The amount of money that you need to put towards it is way lesser. You won't feel the pinch. So I hope that's established the fact that the earlier we start, the better it is for us. Where do we invest? Okay, so one of the principles which I always follow in every goal, in every sort of investment advising, investment planning, is to look at the accumulation mix. We all have talked about asset classes, right? There's a fixed income, like an assured product. There is a product which is more hybrid, which is have some components of safety and some components of high risk and high return. And then we have products which are high risk, right? So for all of us, typically when we are looking at planning for retirement, I've put down some products which you might have heard of. Fixed deposits, bank fixed deposits or corporate fixed deposits, EPF for all those who have a salary, PPF for anyone and everyone, right? NPS. Anyone here who's investing in NPS? We're going to talk about that today, right? Retirement mutual funds. There are funds which are focused especially on retirement. Then there are also pension plans by insurance companies. Anyone here who's heard of any of these products, please put it in the chat box. Yes, heard of retirement funds, heard of these pension plans, right? Now, I've tried to plot them against risk and return. So you will notice that the risk for these products is fairly similar, whereas the returns of your pension plans are on the very, very lower side, almost similar or lower than debt, right? So Sunita knows about pension plans, EPF, PPF. Wonderful. Please go on. Type in the chat box which are the products that you all know about. And today, given the time that I have, I'm going to pick two products that I really want to talk to everyone about. And of course, for equity, there's getting into blue chip stocks, taking that high amount of risk and investing in equity mutual funds. Now, typically, these are the kind of returns that you can expect to make in these products. These are average returns basis their historical performance. While there is no guarantee of future performance, the best possible way for me to work with numbers or with a plan is to look at what has happened in the past, right? So if I look at these products, typically between 7 to 8% is what I can make. Your market link products could be between 6 to 10%, and your equity products would be 12 to 14%. These are averages. You can go above and lower with them basis, the time period that you have started investing. Now, what should one do? How should you go about it? Any thoughts that you all have before I tell you? How should one go about it? This is the accumulation mix that I've put in. But any thoughts on what you think you would like to do when it comes to investing for your retirement? Do you think we should go 100% in fixed income? Does anyone here feel that no, there could be hybrid plus fixed income? What are your thoughts? No? Anyone? Not sure how to go about it? So the simple answer to this question is it totally depends on how much risk you're willing to take. Now, if you're someone who has never taken any risk, I would suggest parking a larger proportion in your fixed income, and from a small amount, 20 to 30% of the amount, you can start looking at hybrid or market link products. If you're someone who's already very comfortable with taking some risk, you can start with creating a mix between fixed can be a smaller proportion, more in market link, and the highest in and some amount kept in equity. If I'm someone who's really high in terms of taking my risk, I have been investing for a long period of time, I would suggest try looking at a higher allocation to equity. This also depends on how far you are from your retirement, right? The further away you are, the higher amount of equity you should take. The closer you are to retirement, please stick between market linked and fixed income products, right? So if retirement is like 5 years away, I'd say start becoming more conservative. If retirement is still 10 to 15 years away, you can have a very comfortable allocation in high risk products, right? Broadly, this is how you can start working with this, the time period and the risk that you can take, right? Today, I wanted to talk about two products. The first one is PPF. How many of you invest in PPF? If anyone here is investing in PPF or if anyone is aware of PPF, that'll be cool to know. Geeta is already investing in PPF. For the others who don't know anything about PPF, it is a government-backed scheme, right, which gives you guaranteed returns. The return percentage is not fixed, but it's guaranteed. And it's also a very good product to get tax-free returns, right? So I'm going to talk a little bit about, PPF with everyone. So we'll try to understand, right? So Maria, I'll try to ease that question out for you. Let's go into features and who is this product suitable for and how can I use it to get maximum return, right? So the first one is that right now it's at 7.1% compounded annually. And this number goes into a revision quarterly, which means that there's a discussion. It may or may not change, but every quarter there's a discussion to see whether it's going to be kept at the same, it's going to go up or it's going to go down. Right? But whatever percentage is fixed, that you will get. The hack here, which everyone needs to know, is that this interest is calculated. It's calculated on the minimum amount that you have between the 5th and the end of the month, which means that it's suggested that you invest in your PPF account between the 1st and the 5th of the month, because whatever you've invested, then that becomes the minimum amount, right? And then you're going to get the interest on that. So the best way to get the maximum result on your PPF, if you're planning for tax saving, then you should have invested between the 1st and 5th. We're a day late, but that was the key period. Doesn't matter. You can still go ahead, make the investment at least this month, so that from next month onwards, you can get the maximum benefit. The second good feature is that this is a very, very accessible product. You can start with a minimum of 500, but it's capped at 1.5 lakhs per year. Okay. Anyone who's an Indian resident, even a minor, can have an account of PPF. You can have a combined account with your child, but the contribution for both is limited to 1.5 lakhs only, right? And it's very easy to open this now, even with several banks. You can just go online and open the PPF account. So it's fairly easy to open. How do you get out of it? While there are several features of partially withdrawing it, you can also get a loan against your PPF. You can premature exit it. So there are multiple options when it comes to accessing this money. But the lock-in period is for 15 years. If you want to get maximum benefit, you have to stay locked in for 15 years. And thereafter, you can extend this in blocks of 5 years, unlimited number of times. Right? So n number of times you can keep extended for blocks of 5 years. What I absolutely love about this product is that it's government backed, so it's safe, and also that it's 100% tax free. Right? Whatever I'm earning is I have to pay no tax on it. So net, I'm actually making 7% post tax. That's the return I make. In your FDs, you make 7%, and yet there is some tax implications there, right? So you're losing out there. So in that sense, between an FD and a PPF, I would always suggest going in for a PPF because it gets you better post-tax return. Having said this, now a lot of people find this as a very unglamorous product, which is why, when they talk to me, they'll talk about mutual funds or stocks. But I wanted to share one secret about this product with all of you. Okay. Do you want to hear the secret? Yes? Yes, like yes, always. Secrets, love secrets. So I got another calculator here, and this is called the PPF Crorepati calculator. Trust me to come up with that. But yeah, how do I make my first crore, which is 100% safe and which is tax-free? So this is the wow of this product. If the maximum that you can invest is 1.5 lakhs every year. Okay. And for the next 15 years, this product keeps earning you 7%. You all can see the calculator. After 15 years, when you want to get out, you would have approximately 40.7 lakhs. Okay. Now what happens? Generally, people withdraw from this. They're waiting for the 15-year window and they'll withdraw. So what you invested was about around 22.5 lakhs. What you earned was around 18 lakhs, right? Instead of doing that, if you were to extend this and stop making any investments, okay, you don't invest anymore. You just say that, okay, instead of maturing this, if I inform my bank and the PPF authorities, 1 year in advance that, okay, it's about to mature, but I would like to extend this. If you let them know, you can extend this for another 5 years. This 40 lakh on its own will compound to 57 lakhs without any further investment. Okay, nothing more is required from you. It keeps earning, assuming, of course, that it keeps earning at 7%. You extend it for the second time, this 57 lakhs, you say, okay, let's keep compounding this, not adding anything to it. Another 5 years, it becomes 80 lakhs. And another 5 years, right? So 15 years, you got to 40. And the next 15 years, you added 60 lakhs plus, and it became 1.1 crore. And this number is the magic number. So imagine if I am today 30, and I just started investing my PPF, and every year I just did this 1.5 lakhs, right, for my tax saving, and which is guaranteed. By the time I'm ready to retire at 60, I would have got 1 crore. Okay, maybe it's not part of, for Maria, for example, she needs 7.5 crores. But how bad is it to get 1 crore out of that, which is 100% tax free and 100% safe? Not bad at all, right? By just making an investment of around 22.5 lakhs, which she's just done, and she's also getting tax benefit on it. Now, many of us overlook this product because it's probably boring. It's not so glamorous, hardly any brag value attached to it. But this is the secret I wanted to share with you. Don't overlook the power of compounding, right? Did you enjoy this secret? Now I'll tell you another fun fact. If you were to continue investing, right, you continued this 1.5 lakh contribution every year, you would hit 1 crore in additional 10 years, by 25 years, right? So by 55, you would have had your 1 crore, which is 100% tax free. Did you like this? Yes, no, maybe? Did you know this? Any reactions would be welcome. Because I take my secret calculations very seriously. Is there any age limit? No. There's no age limit. Which is what makes it exceptionally beautiful, right? That we just don't take this figure seriously. I'm saying if you don't want to do even 1,50,000, they do half of this. Not bad. You get half of this money, which is tax-free and in your hand, and contributes to your... Is PPF the only product which can get you to your retirement? We all know no, right? That 7.5 lakhs is not going to come with 7%. But is this one of the products which I can use and get tax-free return? Absolutely. Why not? Why would I not have something which is short return, right? So this is how I would urge you all to look at this product. And this is not limited to only people who earn. It's not an EPF. It's a PPF anyone can open, irrespective. Only thing is you've got to be an Indian resident. So if you like that, please go and tell everyone around you. Few hacks: invest between the 1st and the 5th. If you are really someone who's very cautious, you already have a PPF account, let's try to maximize this. Push in that 1.5 lakhs and keep extending it as far as you can. Just make it work for you, right? Stretch it the most so that you can hit close to that 1 crore figure, which is 100% tax-free. That's what I would say. Awesome. The other product I want to discuss with you all today is a hybrid product, right? We still have some time. It's NPS. You all have heard of NPS, the National Pension System? Everyone here is familiar with this term? Yeah. So I thought let's break it down into its key features, and then we're going to discuss which product suits you, right? So PPF is a guaranteed government scheme. Like in that sense, there's an assured return that you're going to get. The NPS is a market-linked government scheme, which has been created by the government with a focus on retirement. Okay. Why not the PPF? Even the PPF you can use for retirement. What's the one major difference between the PPF and the NPS? Is that the PPF is going to try to give you that extra 1.5% over inflation. Okay. That's what is going to happen. You're not going to create massive wealth. The government recognizes that money would not be sufficient, like we all saw. So they also launched a product which will be more market linked, right? Which means that while it's not giving me guaranteed returns, given the fact that it invests some amount in the stock markets, I can expect a slightly higher return. On an average, if you look at the past performance, 10-year plus performance of the NPS, the fund managers, you'd see an average performance of the equity schemes are around 12%, right? If you're someone who's looking at a blend, you can make 10 to 12%, right? So it's giving you that extra 3-4% over and above your inflation rate. That's the logic of this particular scheme, but it is not guaranteed. So let's talk about a few key features. Who can invest in the NPS? An Indian citizen starting with the age of 18 all the way up to age 70 can enter this scheme. There will be a specific number called a PRAN number, which is issued to you. And again, NPS today is very easy to open via post office or even your bank accounts. Even online, you can go and open it. It's become fairly simple to open a NPS account using your Aadhaar, PAN card, and you will be basically through. The minimum amount that you need to put, again, these are very, very massy products, accessible products. So you need to put 1,000 every year. And there is no limit, there is no upper limit on the NPS, which again makes it a very interesting scheme, right? I can use this if I want to get more exposure, higher return, and there is no upper limit to it. There are two types of account in the NPS. There's a tier 1 account and then a tier 2 account. Now the tier 1 account typically is your tax saving and the compulsory account, which is from where the pension and everything will go. The tier 2 account is like a regular investment account, right? It's not mandatory. You may or may not choose to have it, right? It's a fairly free and open account. The tax benefit, this scheme also comes with additional tax benefits. So the regular 80C benefit of 1.5 lakh that you get, over and above that, if you invest 50,000 in NPS, you get that as well as tax benefit. So that's a little nudge for all of us to do at least 50,000 into this scheme if you're looking to plan for our retirement, right? So that extra 50,000 anyway you'll get. Nowadays, a lot of corporates have also started taking up the NPS scheme, and even they are contributing as an employer, the way they are doing for EPF as an employee provident fund. A lot of them are now contributing towards the NPS as well, because that will again give you that extra return. Whatever is your employer's contribution, up to 10% of your basic salary is also an additional deduction. So in that sense, NPS has become one of those schemes which you cannot ignore if you require high tax deductions, especially useful for those who have hit, a certain amount of income bracket, 15 lakhs plus. It's a very useful scheme because this will help you minimize the tax liability that you have. So it's a win-win, right? In that sense. There are, a barrage of options that you have in NPS, but just to make the key terms easy for you, you can choose to go in with an auto option. An auto option means that a fund manager is going to pre-allocate how much money is going to go into equity, how much money is going to go into safer instruments, right? So that mix and match will be done by the system basis their fund manager's experience. Typically, this is related to your age, right? So younger you are, more percentage will be going towards equity. The older you get, it'll automatically start moving towards safer instruments. If you're someone who is more aware of stock markets, of how they want to plan their money, you can choose the active option, right? So if I know nothing, I go with the auto option. If I'm more actively aware and I want to make choices, I go with the active option, right? Can you switch these options? Yes, you can. Yeah, you have a limit with once or twice in the year, you can apply and you can switch between these options if you would so like. Now, once you've chosen the option, there are also the next step, they will ask you to choose some assets. So they have these terms, E, G, C, A. What are these? E is equity, which means how much percentage I want to invest in stocks, right? In the stock market, which is high risk. How much percentage do I want to invest in G, which is government bonds? Government bonds would be relatively much, much safer. How much do I want to put in corporate bonds? Slightly more risk than government bonds, but again, less risk than equity, right? So slightly higher return there. And then a small percentage in alternate investments like real estate, etc., which would be, I would suggest try to limit this as low as possible currently, because this is still an emerging asset class. And today there are 10 fund managers from where you can choose, right? Including HDFC, ICICI, Kotak, Axis, a lot of them. All these fund houses are now managing the investments for the NPS, right? So you then go and choose a fund manager as well. So these are some of the options, some of the choices that you have to make. So it's not that straightforward. You've got to be a little bit more aware about markets, about fund managers, right? And finally, how does the maturity of the scheme work? This is the place where you need to pay a maximum amount of attention. Okay. Now, this schemes comes with a lock-in period up to the age of 60. Remember, it's a retirement scheme. So there's no point if they give you a very open hand. Otherwise, you're going to keep dipping into this and pulling out the money. If you're someone who's not very disciplined, this is the right product for you. If you have no clue how you'll go about your retirement, this could be possibly a good product for you to consider. Right? If between age 60, after 60 also you can extend this up to the age of 70, and then till 75 you can exit out of this scheme. Right? Now, if your total amount that you've collected in NPS is less than 5 lakhs, you can withdraw the entire amount. But if it's more than 5 lakhs, 60% of what you collect is what you can get out tax-free and in one go. Remaining 40% will become a pension, or it's also called an annuity, right? Which means every month you're going to get a certain amount of money for the number of years that you have selected. So there are multiple pension schemes. At the time of when you want to kind of get out of the scheme, you will check. You have pension fund managers, you can pick a plan, and that will let you know how much exactly will be your monthly pension. But that pension will not be tax-free. So this is the only major catch which a lot of people resist. Now, in my view, I don't think that this is a big problem, because by the time you retire, there is always a component of wanting some regular monthly income, right? And in that sense, I feel that this product gives you that little income that you require. Would I think that this is the only product which will get you there? Absolutely not, right? We can do a little calculator. I'm going to park a link for all of you as well, where you can do this calculation of how much you invest today and how much you're going to get in. Yeah, Geeta. So 40% annuity means that if I have, gathered, say, 1 crore by the age of 60, now out of 1 crore, 60 lakhs is what I can pull out of NPS in one shot, and that's tax-free. The remaining 40 lakhs will go into a pension scheme. Okay, which means from that 40 lakhs corpus, it's going to keep earning some amount, and every month I'm going to keep getting some amount of pension as well. That's a compulsory component right now in the NPS ecosystem. Does that make sense for you? Well, like I said, if you're someone who is not going to be able to manage your entire investments on your own with a discipline, why not? So I thought maybe I'm going to leave you all with one calculator. And the 60% can be reinvested to get a monthly income as well, right? Yes. So you can choose, Maria, you can choose to extend the entire 60% as well for annuity, right? Or you can pull it out and invest it in other higher return products, from where as well you can draw out an income, right? That's how you can look at bifurcating, because from these pension plans, you might get lesser returns as well. Can we have a session on new EPS scheme for private sector? So Farisha, that is a request you can park with Simran and team, and we'll work on that as well, right? By 75 years, that's the exit age, Geeta, for NPS. That's the maximum. They've worked on it earlier. It was 70, I think. Now they've extended it to 75. Right? So I also do think NPS is a product which is really, the government is really focused on building this as a retirement product for India, right? And there are constantly changes over the last 3-4 years. There have been multiple changes which have happened in this product. And I do foresee that this product is only going to get more and more consumer friendly as we go along. So, which is why I believe that there is nothing lost, at least by starting with 50,000 every month, every year, you get that tax benefit and start doing this product, right? Should I choose NPS? My few cents on this. I did a comparison. Every month, if I was to invest 10,000 rupees, right, for the next 20 years, and I chose these 3 products in PPF, NPS, or mutual fund, what would it look like? In 10,000 every month after 20 years in PPF would be around 53 lakhs. NPS after 20 years, it would be around 77 lakhs. And in an equity mutual fund, this could be a 97 lakhs, right? The things that you must be aware of course, this looks the most lucrative, right? But please remember that you've got to take some higher risk to get to this higher return, right? What should be the factors you have in mind? You should be okay with a long-term lock-in period. Now, many of us, when we do mutual funds, we don't have the kind of discipline to think 20 years. As soon as markets go down, there's a lot of desire to do something. Let me withdraw my money, etc. Now, if you're someone who's not so disciplined, you want to look at a product which is going to keep you locked in, just to make sure that you don't have that option really. Which is why, again, there I feel NPS gets a little extra point over mutual fund. If you're someone who's very disciplined, then absolutely, with all means, choose a mutual fund, right? I've written that lack discipline towards retirement. It's difficult to stay on track for 15 years, 20 years. If you're someone looking for additional tax deduction, who isn't, right? At least that 50,000 can go towards this product. And finally, if you're comfortable with partial pension and partial lump sum. So here I want to leave you all with one calculator, which is on the NPS website. Just let me share that as well. Right. Just give me a second. I'm going to leave you with this pension calculator. Okay. I'm parking this link in your chat box. You all can also play around with this.
Yeah, just for you, small time check. If you want to do a closing call, Farisha is here. We can also skip it. It's up to you and the team here.
I just want to show them this calculator, and then we're pretty much wrapping up. So just for everyone to have a look. Ladies, this is a simple calculator on the NPS website. You can feed in your date of birth, right? So let's just say whatever numbers are here. If every month I want to invest 5,000 rupees, I want to continue this till the age of 60. You can go and see what you can get. So with that, with this 5,000 per month, my total investment is around 25 lakhs, and I'm going to get around, sorry, it's going to be, 25 lakhs, and I'm going to get a corpus of around 3.9 crores, right? And then when I wrap it up, this is how it breaks up into a lump sum value that I can pull out. I can take out 2.3, and this is the pension, and it also gives me a monthly pension figure. Can you all see this? So if you all want to play around with this, it's a fairly useful calculator that you can put your age and figure this one out, right? I've put the link in the chat box for all of you to make that decision. Final checklist: start at a young age, start with 5 to 10% of your income. Stick to a long-term investment plan. If you don't have the discipline, please lock yourself in products which will force you to stay in, so that you don't keep taking money out of your retirement kitty. This needs an annual review. I would always recommend working with an expert for this long-term goal. It's not the easiest goal to achieve. And if you feel discouraged that I don't have all the money today, look at stepping up yearly 10 to 15% of whatever investments you're doing. Really beat this up post your 45, and it's going to be, you'll just be fine, right? With that, if you have still not booked your 15 minutes discovery, I repeat, get onto the discovery link, which will come to you after this call, or you can go on the Womoneysta website. It has a consultation link. Feel free to come in, have a conversation. We will share with you how best we can help you. And with that, I'm going to wrap up. I hope you enjoyed this session today, and it brought some new things for you to like. And the floor is back to Farisha. Thank you so much.
Thank you, as always, Neha. Very interactive, very active session. Final poll, and also because we are quite mindful of people's upcoming holiday, so we're going to let you off the hook. And usually Neha sessions always are in demand and overrun, but we're going to let you off the hook today. Great.
Isn't that true? I mean, why would we let that go?
Absolutely.
Even if it's 2 lakhs and it's us for us girls, women, so why not? I'd say go for it. That's my view.
Never let money that's coming go by.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Great. Team, 2 more people to go to respond to the poll, and that could be just us. So clearly it is another successful session yet. So thank you everyone, and we take all the feedback. Farisha, let me know the topic again, and we'll talk to Neha if we can do a session on that.
Yes.
With that, I think we're going to wish everybody a great Easter break or long weekend, and recharge, rest, think about your money, how to grow it, and reach out to us if there are more topics we would like us to focus on, or any other dedicated sessions. Do reach out to us. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye. See you
As
soon.
always, Neha. Take care. Bye.